Well, hello, everybody. And welcome to today's presentation, where you're going to learn how to manage your social, text, and email marketing, all just with one tool. My name is Pamela Starr, and I'm going to be taking you through this conversation today. First of all, I want to thank the organizations that are bringing today's presentation to you. That's the Greater Riverview Chamber of Commerce, the Key West Chamber of Commerce, the Osceola Chamber, and some of you may have heard about today's presentation directly from me. So welcome to everybody who's online with us right now. So who am I? For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Pamela Starr, and just like you, I am a small business. I help other small businesses learn to grow their business by offering a variety of different marketing and educational presentations, just like today. My biggest client, some of you may have heard of or may have seen me do presentations for, and that is Grow with Google. That's the division of Google that provides all kinds of free education to people just like you. Now, today's presentation is not about Google, it's about Constant Contact. So why am I talking to you about Constant Contact? And that's because I actually used to work for Constant Contact as a full-time employee. I worked for them from 2010 until 2017, traveling all around North America doing educational workshops, similar to what it is that we're doing here today. Now, I do want to let some of you know, if you are interested in learning, how can you learn how to do what it is that I do for a living, which is deliver educational workshops and seminars and webinars. I actually have an online training program that I created that's called 10 New Clients in 30 Days Guaranteed. If you are interested in learning a little bit more about how to do that, just put a note in the chat or in the Q&A to me, and I'll be sure to send you some information after today's presentation is over, so that way you can learn how to do what it is that I do for a living. But we're here, of course, today talking about you. And it's important that you understand how critical it is that you stay in touch with your prospects, your current customers, and also your past customers. Some of you have may have seen a statistic that's somewhat similar to this. Gaining a new customer costs you, in actual dollars, 5 to 25 times more than retaining an existing one. In 2003, I started my first marketing company, and my whole business was built around helping educated professionals learn how to grow their business. All right, we have a message here in the Q&A that the chat is not active. Thank you for letting me know that. Let me see if I can get this going. Hang on just a second. Zoom always makes updates, of course, right before I'm about to start my presentation. What worked last time doesn't always work this time. All right, I am not seeing where I can update the chat here from within it. If anybody has any questions or, hang on, let me try this over here. Nope. All right. If anybody has any questions, by all means, just put them into the Q&A. Okay. Melody is saying that she's seeing the chat. Looks like, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name properly here, Nishan. If you're not able to, by all means, you figured it out. You were able to send me in. Okay. You say it's working now. Excellent. That's what's kind of nice about doing live webinars like this, is if you all have questions for me, or if something's going on, just let me know, either like in the chat or in the Q&A. All right, so back to talking about you and how important it is to keep in touch with people to make more money for your business. A 5% increase in retention, meaning retaining your existing customers, can increase your profits, and profits, of course, is money in your business checking account, by 25 to 95%. So what does that mean for you? By keeping in touch with your current, past, and future customers, you have the potential of almost doubling your profit for your business. Now, obviously, everybody's business is a little bit different, but that's a huge number for you to think about. The other thing to keep in mind is I know we live in a world where everybody's all about social media, TikTok, Instagram, what have you. But 99% of consumers check their personal email at least once a day. When I do this presentation in front of a face-to-face audience, I always ask people, raise your hands if you have checked your email today. And everybody raises their hands. Then I say, raise your hand if you have checked your email since you walked into this room. And half the people raise their hands. And then I always smile and say, who's checked their email since I've started talking? And a couple of people will kind of sheepishly raise their hands at that point. But that is true. We all check our email every single day. The other thing to keep in mind when it comes to keeping in touch with your customers is small business brands, just like you, just like me, who connect with people across at least 3 different channels, and I'll talk about that in a moment. They saw 5 times higher purchases per user compared to those businesses that only used one channel. So what do I mean by channels? Channels are simply different places that you can connect with people. And in today's presentation, we're talking about email, social, and text marketing. So those are 3 channels. Other marketing channels that you may use are things like direct mail. Yes, I know we live in a digital age, but for certain businesses, direct mail absolutely can help your business grow. That could potentially be a 4th channel. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about different channels. Having some type of cross-channel marketing approach, and of course today, again, we're talking social, email, and text, can boost your average user's lifetime by 76%, meaning each one of your existing customers can spend a lot more money with your business. Okay, so I just threw a bunch of statistics at you. Don't worry about the specific numbers. Just simply know that keeping in touch in a variety of different formats can have a dramatic increase on your business's bottom line. Here's what we're going to go into in today's presentation. How these 3 tools that I mentioned can help you connect with your current, past, and future customers. How you can also create a great marketing experience that has an impact on your bottom line. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of small businesses make with their marketing, especially social media. They're just kind of haphazardly posting things, but they don't really have a clear business focus for what it is that they post. We're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to talk about how you can manage them all with just one tool, which of course is Constant Contact, because I know how overwhelming it can feel to think, now I need to go into Facebook and manage Facebook. Oh, wait, now I need to go into my email account and manage my email. What about text marketing? That's something that all of a sudden in the last couple of years is starting to ramp up, and that's a whole nother animal itself. The good news is you don't need a bunch of different platforms to manage these tools. You can do them all in Constant Contact, and I'll show you how that works at the end. First, though, I want to get into these 3 different tools and how you can use them to connect with people, how you should use them, and the benefits they have to your business. I like to think about these 3 tools kind of using the party principle because parties are kind of fun. So let's think about this. Social media is kind of like being at a big party. There's lots of people out there. You may not necessarily know everybody. Social media is great for meeting people, and it's great for the people who know you on social media to introduce you by forwarding your posts to their friends. That's kind of the viral nature of social media. All right, I'm going to pause there for a second. Paula, I see you put a question into the Q&A. Will the recording be available later? Yes, for everybody who registered for today's event, you will get a copy of my slides as well as a copy of the recording of today's live webinar. And you will get that in an email from me a little bit later on today. Just takes a little bit of time for the video to process. So thank you, Paula, for reminding me to let everybody know that. So social media, remember, that's the big party. You're kind of flirting with people. You're kind of putting out your best stuff. You want people to kind of pay attention to you. But it's kind of hard to really develop a deeper relationship with somebody at a super big party. That's where email comes into play. Think of email kind of like the after party. For those of you that have been to maybe a big celebration like a reunion or a wedding, last week I was a guest speaker at a small business development center statewide conference, and there were lots of people there. But the actual one-to-one conversations kind of happens afterwards. And that's what email is about. If somebody likes your post or follows you on social media, that's kind of easy. That's not a big commitment for them. But if somebody gives you their email address, they're actually saying, yes, I'm interested in what you have to say. Tell me more. So we think of email kind of as a way to have a deeper relationship with your prospects and your customers because you've got more room in an email to communicate with them. So what about text marketing? Text marketing is kind of like the VIP party. If somebody knows you, likes you, and trusts you enough to give you their cell phone number, they're saying, wow, I think you are great. And yes, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. Now, of course, you don't want to abuse that, but people that do give your business their cell phone number and say, yes, I want to receive text messages from you, they really want to connect with you. Using social media is a great way to build mass momentum about what's going on in your organization. You can create posts that are designed to build awareness. This is who we are. This is what we have to offer to people. This is how we can help you improve your overall life. So those are good types of posts to do in social media. You also can do posts in social media that are kind of what we would call like, customer service type posts. Oftentimes people ask about X, Y, and Z. This is the answer. The holidays are, well, we just finished some of our summer holidays. 4th of July we just had, so lots of businesses were open on 4th of July. Lots of businesses are closed on 4th of July. We're coming up to back to school season. Let people know if there's something different that's going on in your business. And that could be considered kind of part of the customer service. And social media is a great way to let people know what's going on with you there. Social media is also a great way to encourage people to take action with your platform. Now, on social media, you want to think of creating posts that are designed to get people to do something, like, comment, or share your post. Now, that can be hard to think of for every single post you make on social media, but start thinking carefully next time you've got your fingers on your keyboard or your thumbs on your smartphone, and you're creating a social media post for your business. What do you want people to do? Oftentimes, it's simply just make a comment, because having a comment or sharing your post or liking your post, those start to trigger the social media platform's algorithms. If lots of people like your post, what does that tell the social media platform? Oh, lots of people like this post. Let's show it to more people. One of the things people don't always realize when it comes to social media is the social media platform of your choice does not show your post to every single person that is connected with you on that social media platform. In fact, the number of people that they show it to can be as small as 2 to 4% of the people that follow you. So let's say, for simplicity's sake, you are on Facebook and you have 100 people that are connected to your business page. If you do a post this afternoon, on average, and of course it's going to be different for every business, but on average, Facebook will only even show your post to between 2 and 4 of the people that are connected with you on there. And that's simply because Facebook, and like all the other social media tools, know we, their users, sometimes feel overwhelmed when we get all kinds of posts that we're not interested in. So your job is to create posts that are designed to get people to take some action with the post, like, comment, or share your post. So that's all about social media, building mass momentum. Now remember, email is your opportunity to deepen relationships with people. Emails are going to fall into 2 basic categories: what I call informational emails and promotional emails. Informational emails will let people know things that they can read and enjoy, whether or not they're ready to use your business today. Promotional emails are emails that are a little bit more like the buy me now type emails. Back to school for many of you is definitely a buy me now type situation. We're having a big sale. We've got a special offer. Click here to buy now. When you're creating your emails, try to think in general of having about 80% informational type content and only about 20% promotional type content. Because if every email you send out to people is buy me, buy me, buy me, buy me, people are going to unsubscribe from your email list. Your goal with your email list is to keep people on your email list as long as possible. On any given day, if you send out an email to, say, 100 people, if you use a good quality tool like Constant Contact, there's a strong likelihood that 99 of those people will get your email in their inbox. But those 99 people may not all be ready to take some action with you today. So you want to be sure that you give them enough good quality information that they find helpful. So that way, if they get an email from you maybe 3 months down the road, maybe that's when they're ready to do business with you. So keep that in mind, 80% informational, 20% promotional. Now, with email marketing, you do need to be sure that you get people's permission to receive email information from you. There is a federal anti-spam law that's actually pretty broad. Technically, legally, you can send a marketing email to pretty much anybody whose email address you get your hands on and still be compliant with federal law. However, there is a big but here. Even if you acquired somebody's email address and you are compliant with federal law, if they don't know you, don't know how you got their email address, do know you, know exactly how you got their email address, if they're mad about that, they can report you as sending them spam. So spam, like beauty, is kind of in the eye of the beholder. If you're sending emails to people who never agreed to get emails from you, they're going to consider being spammed. All of you, when you signed up for this Zoom event, said, yes, Pamela, we want to get in touch with you. You want to attend my webinar, and everyone's going to get a copy via email because I use Constant Contact of today's presentation. So you do need to be sure that you are getting permission from people to send them emails. You also do need to be sure that you have an easy way for people to unsubscribe from your list. According to federal anti-spam laws, you actually have 30 days to take somebody off your list if they request to be unsubscribed. If you use Constant Contact, the moment somebody clicks the unsubscribe button at the bottom of their email, you will never send them an email again unless they resubscribe. So that's one of the ways that Constant Contact keeps you from making people really frustrated with you. So that's email. Let's talk about text marketing. This is something that a lot of the big retail brands are really going into hot and heavy. Just a couple of years ago, consumers really did not like text marketing. Today, we also don't like text marketing unless it's a business that we want to get texts from. So with text marketing, you do want to be careful. Send text messages to people who have opted in, not just to your email list, but opted in to receive text messages from you. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But be sure you're giving people something of value. Have some sense of urgency. We've got 3 slots left open for X, Y, and Z. We're having a sale that ends tomorrow. You want to be kind of personal about this. They shouldn't be super formal, and be kind of conversational in your text messages. Text messages are designed to be kind of quick, easy, and give people just the facts when it comes to your text messages. Now, you do want to be legal when it comes to text messages. The Federal Trade Commission actually regulates text messages. There are some hoops you need to jump through if you want to start sending text messages on behalf of your business that are actually a little bit bigger hoops or smaller hoops. There's more hoops. to send people text messages than there are even to send people email messages. For text messages, you do need to be sure that people opt in. It's a good practice to confirm their participation. And you may have seen texts like this, perhaps if you signed up for somebody else's text list. You want to include disclaimers and also set expectations. You'll hear from us once a week or something along those lines. Do not add people to your text, email, or your text marketing list just because you happen to have their cell phone number. That is not cool, and it is also not legal. If you do want to set up text messaging in Constant Contact, there's a whole process that kind of walks you through that to ensure that you are compliant with federal law when it comes to text marketing. So how do you get people to opt into these things? Whether it's your text list or your email list, if you want people to join your list, just ask them. And how and when you ask them kind of depends on what type of business you have. If you do see people face to face, perhaps you have a restaurant or retail store, when they check out, give them the opportunity to opt in to either your text or your email list, or both, whatever they prefer. If you're helping customers, maybe even, if they're not buying something from you at that time, but they came in perhaps and they asked you a question about your products or services, give them the opportunity to hear from you on a regular basis. If you do face-to-face events, that's another great opportunity to encourage people to sign up for your email or your text list. For those of you that use print materials, you can create QR codes, those little squares codes that we all got to know really, really well when everything was kind of shut down at COVID and we weren't supposed to touch anything. QR codes are definitely making a comeback, and I actually have a couple in today's presentation that I'll share with you towards the end. But you can put links to sign up for your email list or your text list, make a QR code out of those, put those on your business card, on your paper flyers. If you do physical direct mail, you can do them there as well. And then, of course, anywhere where you reach people online, you can have links for people to sign up for your email and your text list. And of course, that would be your website, your social media platforms, even your one-to-one email signature. You can have links to encourage people to receive X, Y, and Z information from you via email or text. Landing pages are just kind of like little quick one-page little mini websites, for lack of better words, that typically sell one particular product or service. You can encourage people, if you have those, to sign up for your email or your text list. Now, here's a little trick, though. The last thing anybody wants to do is to get another email newsletter. Maybe the second last thing anybody wants to do is to get another promotional text message. So rather than telling people, click here to sign up for my email newsletter, think of something of value you have to offer people. If you can offer people coupons or discounts, great. Click here if you want to get a 20% off coupon off your next purchase. Now, for those of you that are in the type of business where you can't offer a coupon or a discount, maybe you're in real estate, or you're an attorney, or you're in financial services or something like that, instead, offer people information that they would find valuable. 10 tips to, 3 dangers to avoid. Those are the types of things people will absolutely give you their email or their text information to get that type of information. Now, and if you're not quite sure, how could you create something like that for your business? Later on, after today's presentation is over, as I mentioned, Paula asked the question, will the recording of today's presentation be available? It will. You all will get an email from me that has the slides and the video recording. Email me back and say, hey, Pamela, let me know, what can I offer to people in exchange for their email address? And I'll be happy to help you out with that. Now, I'm pretty darn good at coming up with ideas for people just like you. Now, how do you create a good marketing experience that has an impact on your bottom line? Because that's clearly what's most important here. For those of you in for-profit organizations, you need money coming into your business bank account. Even those of you that are in nonprofits, you still have budget that you need to manage, and you need to have people take whatever action with you want them to take. Volunteer, use your services, promote your nonprofit, or what have you. What I do recommend is when you're thinking about email, text, and social media, don't think of them as kind of isolated experiences. Think of them kind of all together as your overall marketing campaigns. Some businesses decide to do like a monthly theme or a quarterly theme. As I mentioned before, we're hot and heavy into back to school system time. Where I live, I believe school starts actually on Thursday of this week. I no longer have a school-age child. He's all grown up now, so it's not quite as meaningful to me as it was in the past. But back to school is a great theme for many businesses. Back to business is also a great theme for many businesses. September timeframe, late August to mid-September, kids are back to school, and a lot of times mom and dad are more focused on business in this time of year as well. So do think of perhaps themes, or even if you don't want to have like a catchy theme like back to school sale, perhaps think of it at least in your own mind of, in the next 30 days, I'm really going to focus on growth. And then 30 days after that, perhaps you're really going to focus on deepening relationships with your customers. But you need to know what is it you want to do from a marketing perspective, and then create your social media posts, your email newsletters, and your text campaigns. So that way they all funnel into what is your goal for that particular time period. So some of you may be thinking, well, how on earth am I supposed to write all of that stuff? And the answer is, it's not quite as hard as you think that it might be. We definitely recommend you repurpose content. My gut is most of you probably have content on your website right now that you can repurpose. You can take maybe a longer article, maybe 250 words or 300 words, and make that an email newsletter. And then maybe in that email newsletter, you can kind of break it up into 3 different key points. And then all of a sudden, those are 3 different social media posts. And then maybe for people who have trusted you enough to give you their cell phone number, you can send them very specific text messages designed to have them take some action with you. Now, of course, you do need to kind of adjust your message for each of those platforms. As I said, email is the time to have kind of a deeper information to share with people. Social is kind of quick, fun, and flirty. And then text is, you better be giving somebody something good if you're going to be interrupting their day with that text message. If you're not sure how to say any of this stuff, that's where our new best friend, artificial intelligence, comes into play. Now, with artificial intelligence, I know there's a lot of interest in it right now. There is a lot of kind of uncertainty about it right now. The way that I like to think of artificial intelligence for people like you, and this is certainly how I use it, is it's a great idea starter. You can use Chat GPT. You can use Google Bard, and actually you can use AI from Constant Contact, and I'll talk about that in just a moment here. But that's a great way to get ideas, and you can just type into your artificial intelligence platform of choice and say something like, give me 10 dangers people should avoid when it comes to, then fill in the blank of whatever your industry is. And then all of a sudden you've got a list of 10 dangers to avoid. Take maybe your first 3 that you think are the best, and then all of a sudden you've got a special report, 3 dangers to avoid. So that's how artificial intelligence can really help you out. You can also say something like, create a social media post for Twitter using this information, and then boom, it gives you your social media post. So those are different things that you can do with artificial intelligence. So how do you manage all of this stuff within your Constant Contact account? This is what today's presentation is definitely going to focus on for the rest of the time that we have here together. Constant Contact, when I worked for them as a corporate employee, we only had email marketing. We didn't have text, we didn't have social. We were just starting to talk about social in our educational presentations that I used to do back then. But today in 2023, you can manage all of these tools within your one Constant Contact account: email, social, text, and also, as I mentioned just a moment ago, there is that AI element that can help you out. So here's a screenshot from my Constant Contact account, and it lists a whole series of different types of marketing campaigns you can create in Constant Contact. Now, I will read them out really briefly. I'm not going to go into depth on all of these at all today, because today we only have time to focus on email, text, and social. But there's email campaigns. Email automation is kind of what we would commonly refer to as a drip campaign, which is the first time somebody signs up to get something from your list, they get one email. And then you schedule in advance that maybe 2 days later, they'll get email number 2. Then maybe a week later, they'll get email number 3. And 2 weeks later, they'll get email number 4. And it doesn't matter when people sign up for your email list, they will always get those same emails in that same pattern. That's what we would call commonly a drip campaign or follow-up campaign. So that's email automation. Just so you know, when I'm looking this way, that's because that's where my camera is. Where I turn my head here, it's because I can actually read my slides a little bit better over here. So the next thing that you can create in Constant Contact is a social post, and I will go into that in today's presentation. You can also create social advertisements within Constant Contact. I'm not going to get into that today, but I do want to just let you know that that is available for you. There are events registrations you can do in Constant Contact. You can do online surveys. You can have those landing pages that I referenced really briefly a few minutes ago. Remember, landing pages are kind of like a quick one-page little mini website that is designed to get people to take one specific action with you. You also can manage your Google Ads and SEO if you have a premium Constant Contact account. And at the very end of today's presentation, I'll go over the different account levels and let you know what the pricing is, because everybody's always interested, of course, in that. Let's start off, though, talking about how you can manage social media from within your Constant Contact account. So we're back to our different campaigns, and I circled here, we're going to create a social post. When you click on that, as I mentioned before, you've got 2 options. You can create a basic social post, essentially a free social post, or you can create an advertisement for social media. Now, of course, building it in Constant Contact, that's part of your regular Constant Contact account. If you want to do a social advertisement and push it out to one of those social media platforms, you do need to pay that platform for the advertiser fees. But you can build it and organize it and measure it all within Constant Contact. So here's a social media post that I started to build a couple of months ago, letting people know that I was doing this exact same presentation on May 3rd. And this was something that I wanted to share out with my professional Facebook page. So if you look at the upper left-hand corner of the screen, the first thing that you have the option to do is select your social profiles. The very first time you do this, you do need to connect your social media accounts to your Constant Contact accounts. You'll have to, verify your ownership of them, but do it once and they're good to go until the social media account makes some change to something, and then you may need to set it up again, but you don't need to do it every time you create a post. For this particular post, I chose that I wanted it to go out on my Facebook professional page as well as on Twitter. Now, I could have decided to send this out on LinkedIn, but I wanted something on LinkedIn to be a little bit different. For those of you that use LinkedIn, I've been using LinkedIn for a very long time, probably at least back to the year 2000. LinkedIn has evolved a lot. It used to be just straight for business. It's now getting kind of socially too. Some people love that. Some people don't love it quite so much. But you could absolutely select that here if you wanted to. Then what you do is you write out what you want the post to be. Again, if you don't know what you want to say, you can use AI, artificial intelligence, to help come up with what the post should be here for you. The next thing that you can do is if you have an image that you want to use, you can use your own image, and we'll talk about images here in just a moment. Obviously, the image that I have on the screen here of the picture of the woman kind of with her chin on her hands and looking at her computer, that is not me. But I really liked the idea of somebody that represented somebody working at home who was going to be interested in watching a webinar that I was doing. So I'll talk about images in just a moment. And then at the very bottom left-hand side of that particular image, that screen, I have the date and the time. You can schedule your post to go out at some point in the future. Now, that is fantastic for batching your time. For those of you that are trying to kind of scramble all the time and figure out, well, I need to do email, I need to do social, Pamela's telling me maybe I want to learn how to do text, I need to update my website, maybe I need to do some videos, it can feel overwhelming. Trust me, because I feel overwhelmed sometimes with what it is that I'm trying to do. So what I like to do is batch my activities, which means that on this particular day, in this particular time chunk, this is where I'm going to create all of my fill in the blank, all of my social media posts, and then schedule them to go out at some point in the future. All right, Melody just asked a question. Can you limit the number of accounts added here? And also, is there a limit to the number of posts that can be scheduled? For example, no more than 100. Melody, to be honest, I don't know. I have never heard of there being a limit to the number of posts that you can schedule. As far as the accounts that go out there, Melody, I'm wondering if perhaps you're an agency and you're helping other people, because in reality, any particular business would not really have all that many accounts that they would want to go ahead and send out information. So the answer, that's a long answer to your question of I have never heard of there being a limit. There probably is at some point, but I've never had anybody tell me, Melody, that they have run out and they were not able to pre-schedule as many as they want to. All right, so now let's talk about images. Now, remember we talked about how the picture on the screen obviously is not me, it is somebody else. When you want to create an image or for your social media posts, there's a little box there that says, add images. If you click on that box, you'll get a pop-up that will take you to your image library that's in Constant Contact. And your image library is kind of the place where you can put in your own images that you want to. And so if you already have images in your Constant Contact account, maybe you use them for an email, you can use that same image for a social post. Or if you have a specific image that you have somewhere on your computer, you can upload that to your library. If you don't have an image, Constant Contact actually has a stock image library, and that's our stock image gallery. And that's where I got the picture I showed on the last screen. The stock image gallery, there are some pictures that are free with your Constant Contact accounts. And if you're like me, you probably like free. There are other images that are not free, they're premium images, but they tend to be really inexpensive, $3, $5, $8 to use some particular type of image. And you may find that there are situations where there's the perfect image. Oh my goodness, it's $5. So you have that opportunity to use that if it makes sense. If not, definitely use the free images because they are right there for you. Then the last thing that you have the opportunity to do is create graphics and make those into images by linking Constant Contact and Canva. For those of you who are not familiar with Canva, I definitely recommend you get to know Canva. Canva is a graphic design tool that helps non-graphic designers, people like me, create different types of basic images. If you can see on that screen, on the second row over, the second row down, third column over, there's that blue image that says sell online with e-commerce tools. Then there's the grow with Google logo underneath that. I created that in Canva. I happen to have a Canva account. There's actually a free version that I think I probably created that image in. You can pay for that. Or if you use Constant Contact, you can get into Canva from within your Constant Contact account. And then you can create that image, upload it to your library, and then use it wherever in Constant Contact you want to, your social posts or your emails. So that's how simple it is to create social posts from within your Constant Contact account. Now let's talk about managing your email marketing. Now we're back to the very beginning of where we were about creating a type of campaign. Here we are going to create an email campaign. Now with email, Constant Contact has got oodles and oodles of built-in templates that you can choose if you want to. You can update or modify any of these templates anytime you want. Some of them are based on different industries like real estate or financial services or retail or nonprofit or something like that. Others are based on certain holidays or certain themes, back to school, St. Patrick's Day, the winter holidays. So you've got a lot of opportunities there. Now, the one thing that I do kind of caution you about is, remember, you want to create a good image for your brand. Sometimes I'll get emails from people and every email looks completely different because they think that they're doing a good job with the fun type templates. Oh, it's back to school, so we're going to do one with, children or something like that, which is fine on occasion. But in general, the majority of your informational emails that we talked about before should be consistent with your particular brand. Now, again, you can modify all of these templates. However, you also can get a custom designed email template that uses the information that is on your website, your social media, has your logo on it, or if you have any print materials, that type of thing. The designers at Constant Contact can actually create a customized email template just for your particular business. If you already have a Constant Contact account, I can get you one of these custom templates. It's $99. If you're watching the recording of today's presentation, you can scan the QR code that's on the screen, or you can scan it right now if you want to. And I will actually put a link in the chat for those of you that are watching this live. If you already use Constant Contact and you would like to have a custom designed email template, you can click on the chat, link on the chat, purchase that, and I'll take care of that for you. For those of you who do not use Constant Contact yet, if you do decide to buy a Constant Contact account, I can get you one of those custom templates for free. I will go ahead and, well, I'll talk about how you can buy Constant Contact at the end when I talk about pricing. So just kind of wanted to let you know about that. As you can see, hopefully on the screen, the custom template I'm showing you is really, really long. All of the templates in Constant Contact have got a lot of different sections where you can put stuff. Sometimes people will say to me, well, Pamela, I don't have that much to say. I don't know what to put in some of these areas. The point is, don't. You can delete a lot of those different blocks and just use the information or the areas of the template that makes sense for you. So just kind of want to give you that little tip. So that is email marketing. Now let's talk about text marketing, because this is something that's a whole different animal. For those of you who already use Constant Contact, text marketing is an add-on, meaning you need to own a Constant Contact account. And if you want text marketing, it's an additional fee. Again, as I mentioned, I'll talk about fees in a moment. If you are brand new to Constant Contact and you say, yes, I want to do it all, if you purchase a Constant Contact account after that setup, then you will need to add on the text marketing. To be honest with you, the text marketing is run by a different company that Constant Contact has partnered with. That's why it's not seamlessly built in to the payment schedule. The tool itself is seamlessly built in, but the payment is a little bit different. Now, the other thing that's a little bit different with text marketing, remember I mentioned earlier in our conversation that text marketing is highly regulated. There is something called the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, which means that you cannot just randomly send people marketing text messages just because you happen to have their cell phone number. There is a process you need to go through to register your business in order to send people marketing messages via text. Now, here's something that's really important that everybody needs to understand. You do need to have an EIN number for your business to do this. And that is an employee identification number that I kind of tend to think of it as that's kind of like a social security number for your business. If you set up a business bank account, you had to have an EIN. There's different places where you have to have an EIN. If you don't have one of those, you will need to get your business set up with an EIN in order to do text marketing. And you get that EIN number from the IRS. So that's where you can get that EIN number from the federal government. So then after you set up that in text situation, now all of a sudden when you're looking at your campaigns, remember I showed you a couple of minutes ago, there was email, social ads. Now all of a sudden SMS, which is basically text marketing, will be one of the campaign options that you have inside your Constant Contact account. So that's a lot of information. Now, remember, I talked really briefly a couple of minutes ago about artificial intelligence. Within Constant Contact, there are different levels. You'll have different levels of AI access. But what you can do is go into your Constant Contact account, type in a prompt, which could be a sentence or two, and then AI will give you a whole bunch of content that if it's perfect for you, great, copy it, make it your social media post, or copy it and make it your email. In my experience, it's probably about 80% where I want it to be, which means you probably are still going to want to edit it. Folks, I've been in the marketing world for a very, very, very long time. It's almost always easier to edit something that is written for you than it is to stare at that blank screen and say, oh my goodness, where am I supposed to start today? So for those of you who aren't sure what types of emails you could send out, you could go into AI and say something like, write a 250-word email that's timed for back to school for a business that is a financial planner or something along those lines. And then it will just create it for you right there on the spot. You read it, you edit it, put it in your email, and away you go. So that's a great way for you to save a lot of time and mental energy. The biggest challenge people tell me all the time when it comes to email marketing is they just don't know what to say. Problem solved now by using artificial intelligence. Now, you can absolutely, as I said, Constant Contact says you're putting this all on autopilot. You kind of sort of are, but in reality, at some point, you do still need to have your fingers on the keyboard. As I mentioned before, batching your time, what I definitely recommend with all of your marketing activities is go into your weekly calendar and just say, this time of the week is when I'm going to work on my marketing activities. Dedicate that hour or 2 hours a week, so that way you know that you've got it done and you don't need to worry about that going into the future. Now, with Constant Contact, they do offer free unlimited technical support to all customers. That is something that I really do love about Constant Contact. I have been using Constant Contact since 2008. Yes, I used Constant Contact before I became a corporate employee in 2010. And even today, in 2023, if I have a problem, I call support. Because I would rather have somebody go into my account on the back end, fix whatever it is I'm trying to do, and it's done. Much better way for me to spend my time than me kind of banging my head against the wall because I don't know how to do something in my Constant Contact account. So that free unlimited technical support is definitely one of the things that I love most about this tool. So pricing. Constant Contact for email and social has got 3 different plan levels. There's light, standard, and premium. They are all based on the number of email subscribers you have in your account. Light is basically exactly what it sounds like. For $12 a month, you can basically send basic emails, which is perfect for many of you that are watching today's presentation. You can also do some of the basic social. There's the standard, which has pretty much most of the bells and whistles. The premium is the tool that you would want to use if you wanted to manage your Google ads and Google SEO through Constant Contact. Although to be honest, kind of between you and me, if you're at the point with your business where you do want to pay for Google ads and you do want to really focus on SEO for your website, you probably have enough skill and know-how to take care of that offline, not within Constant Contact. So I'm not saying don't buy the premium accounts. I'm just saying that it's probably not the best option for the most people. Those start at $12, $35, and then $80 a month. There are discounts if you are a nonprofit and prepay. So just kind of want to let you know about that. Text marketing, remember I mentioned before that it's an add-on Text marketing starts at $10 a month if you have up to 500 cell phones that you can send text messages to, and then the pricing goes up from there. So in all transparency, just kind of wanted to let you all know what the prices are. Now, because you are watching today's presentation, I can get you a discount on Constant Contact. If you want to save 30% for the first 3 months of a new Constant Contact account, click on the link that I am putting in the chat right now, or you can scan the QR code that I have on the screen if you're watching the recording of this, or I actually have a link on my website, and you can find that at PamelaStarRonline.com/constant contact. And remember, anybody who buys an account through that link from me, I will also get you that free email template. Again, if you already have a Constant Contact account and you want an email template, I put the link in already where you can get one for $99. So just kind of wanted to let you know about that. All right, so that takes us to the end of our conversation for Constant Contact. I see there's a couple of questions people have put into the Q&A. If you've got more questions for me, this is a great time to put them in the Q&A or the chat. Question in Q&A, can you set up payment options for Constant Contact? If you're talking about payment options for you to purchase Constant Contact, you can pay for it on a month-to-month basis, or you can prepay for it for 6 months or for 12 months. If you're talking about payment options for people to pay you, you can absolutely. I just touched the surface of what you can do here in Constant Contact. You actually can sell products and services from within Constant Contact and set up your emails and your payment that way. So if somebody gets an email from you, if they want to buy this pen, they can click here, give you their money, and away you go. So Paula, hopefully that kind of answers your question there for the different ways for payment options with Constant Contact. Oh yeah, she's saying, yes, pay me and sell product. Absolutely, you can do that within Constant Contact as well. You can sell products and services within Constant Contact. If you do events, you can do services also. You can have charge for registration in events in Constant Contact. All right, Michael says, does Constant Contact still have the service where they create and maintain a website for you? Michael, sadly, no. For everybody else out there, for a couple of years, Constant Contact had a tool where you could generate a website for your business from within your Constant Contact account. They discontinued that in January of this year. However, Michael, I do have a great resource that I'm recommending now. Hang on just a second. Hang on, let me just copy this. That tool is called You&I, and You&I is actually the website tool that I'm recommending now since Constant Contact went away from the website builder tool that they had within their accounts. With You&I, and that's obviously that's a topic of a whole different webinar here. With You&I, what there is a one-time setup fee. That's normally $199, but if you use my link, you can get that for $179. And with that one-time setup fee, you get a draft of your website in 7 days, and then your website is perfected for you in 30 days. And then there's an $8.99 monthly hosting fee for You&I. So if you're interested in that, Michael, you can click on the link. For everybody else, when I send you my follow-up email, I'll have a link in there for a YouTube video that I did not too long ago about You&I. Now, actually, I won't because they changed a couple of things, but I'll get you some information about You&I in my follow-up email. All right, question here about, do you still need Shopify if you want to sell product within your Constant Contact account? The answer is no. If you do have a Shopify store, you can link Constant Contact to that. But last time I checked, now granted it's a tech product, which means that they'd like to change things. Last time I checked, you do not need to have a Shopify account in order to sell products directly from your emails itself. So if people are interested in stuff like that, let me know, and I will try and create another training presentation that talks about how to sell products from within your Constant Contact account. All right, everybody, I think I answered all the questions that people put into the chat and into the Q&A. Looks like I am a couple of minutes early here. So thank you all for your time. Definitely be on the lookout for that email that will come out for me a little bit later on today. We'll have a copy of my slides as well as a copy of the video recording of today's presentation. Until the next training event that I do for you, I wish you all the best of luck. If you have any questions after you get that email, just email me back. I'm here for you to help you any way I can. Until next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.